Southeast Asia has faced fewer more testing subjects in recent years than the array of increasingly bitter disputes with China over territory in the South China Sea. The issue divided ASEAN when foreign ministers met earlier this year, and leaders will be hoping to paper over the cracks at the very least when they get together in Cambodia next month. And the indications are that they may accept Beijing's demand that the disputes must be resolved individually rather than multilaterally. ASEAN's Secretary-General, Surin Pitsuwan, is visiting Australia, with progress on freer trade in the region also on his agenda. Secretary-General, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Free and open trade, not just within ASEAN, but also with 6 of your key regional partners,
yes,
including Australia, by 2015.
Yes.
Noble and ambitious as a goal, but a very tight deadline. You're going to make it?
Yes, and I think the private sector can give you a better answer than me, because I think they are benefiting a great deal. The various multinational corporations coming to me from various capitals saying that we are benefiting from the progress that ASEAN is making, opening up, integrating, and bringing down the barriers. Now, we have 5 free trade agreements with 6 countries, because Australia and New Zealand come in together. But Australia and New Zealand and ASEAN have been able to establish a free trade agreement that is rather comprehensive. We have dealt with the issues of goods, the issues of investment, the issues of services.
Where are the sticking points then at this stage? Because you haven't got that long before the deadline.
Well, both of us realize that the problem is not in the rules and in the regulations. The problem is our private sector probably is not making use of it fully enough. And we are trying to promote it.
Why is that, do you think?
I think lack of awareness. I think some reluctance that it's going to be a jump to go and invest in the landscape of ASEAN, for example. And the ASEAN countries are coming down here. Thailand is investing rather big in Australia, in some of the icons of your country.
In terms of achieving an ASEAN economic community by 2015, how difficult is it proving, given the vast disparities in wealth between, say, the poverty of Myanmar and the wealth of Singapore in particular, but Indonesia and others?
Yeah, I think the gap between us and among us is a problem in itself, but also the awareness that the landscape now is rather open, rather free, rather integrated, and that we should encourage our own SMEs to cross borders. Trade among ourselves, 10, is only 25% of our total trade that ASEAN trades with the world. So we need to encourage more cross-border investment from Thailand into Malaysia, Malaysia into Indonesia, Indonesia into the Philippines. These things need to be encouraged, need to be promoted more. We found out that multinational corporations are taking advantage of our trade agreements and the reduction of barriers more than our own companies doing business in each other. ASEAN is trading with each other only about 25%. If you compare that with NAFTA, Canada, US, Mexico, that's 50% of their trade. They trade with each other. The EU is even bigger than that, 68, 70%. We have to push that forward.
Another subject, this has proved a difficult year for ASEAN.
Yes.
Will the leaders, when they meet in Cambodia next month, achieve what the foreign ministers failed to do in Cambodia earlier in the year? That is, achieve agreement on a code of conduct for the disputed territories in the South China Sea?
I think we are doing everything possible so that the issue is not achieving the code of conduct. The issue is to record the content of the discussion that we have discussed these very, very difficult issues of the South China Sea. We could not agree to issue a joint communique, what should be in the elements of the joint communique.
Was this a wake-up call for ASEAN? Do you think people have learned the lessons
in a way it
from
is.
that?
I think ASEAN has learned that dealing on these kind of issues among ourselves easier than dealing with the external powers. And external powers themselves, the rivalry will play itself out on the ASEAN stage. And ASEAN has to be more ready, has to be more prepared, has to enhance our capacity to deal with these contending, opposing forces and interests.
Since the Foreign Ministers' meeting, as I understand it, there's been considerable informal contact
Yes.
between ASEAN and China at quite high levels.
You have done your homework.
Thank you.
Yes.
At quite high levels.
Yes.
Is that showing any signs of a more accommodating view on the part of the Chinese?
I think so. In the end, everybody, big and small, realized that what happened was counterproductive, that we must be able to send the right signal to the global community, that we have differences, but we can manage our differences in a peaceful way, that will resort to ways and means that would not allow the issue to spill out into the open. And lack of confidence or eroding or diminishing confidence in the region because of such issue, confrontation and open conflict will affect climate of investment, will affect trade, will affect tourism and just confidence overall.
Cambodia is
Yes.
this year's ASEAN chair.
Yes.
One of ASEAN's foundation principles is non-interference in each other's affairs.
Yeah.
Does it worry you at all that China, which is not a member of ASEAN, seems to be interfering in Cambodia to try to influence the way in which it actually manages the chairmanship of this august institution?
Well, I think ASEAN is an open house. ASEAN receives a lot of signals, a lot of communications, a lot of sometimes pressure onto us. And we have to learn to balance that. And as I said, we have learned that we need to strengthen our forum more and enhance our ability more to deal with these kind of things. And this will not be the last. There will be others.
But it is a real test if you cannot deal with this issue over, as you pointed out, what is a major trading route, important not just to the region but increasingly to the world.
Yes.
It does suggest that ASEAN has not lived up to its promise.
Well, I think if you call it a wake-up call, but I think a better term would be a warning that ASEAN will need to do its homework more. The fact that Australia is being able to benefit from the growth and the dynamic of East Asia is because of the semblance of stability and security. So Australia has a role to play. And I've been encouraging your leaders here that let's explore together what is appropriate way forward. And certainly, you know, Deng Xiaoping used to say, we may have to leave some of these thorny issues for the future generations when they are wiser than us. But in the meantime, let us benefit from the resources, from the wealth that they are there. Thailand and Malaysia have shown the way. We have joint development area covering 7,000 square kilometers.
Do you think that's a real possibility, that there could be agreement on a joint development area for this very important area of sea?
It's not out of imagination because they have explored these things before. So let us calm down and go back and try to understand the opportunities and the potential that we can work on these issues. The territorial issue is going to take time to decide, and eventually it will have to be between the bilateral claims and claimants and counter-claimants.
But within a bilateral framework?
Yeah.
Within a multilateral framework, I should say?
We can discuss about it. We certainly can offer a forum or a stage or a process, such as ASEAN is doing on this code of conduct that we are going through among ourselves and with China.
Before we conclude, your term as Secretary-General of ASEAN is drawing to a close. I wonder if I could ask you this, and you can answer in whichever order you like. What has given you greatest heart during your time as ASEAN Secretary-General, and what's been your greatest disappointment?
The most encouraging part is 82% of the ASEAN people appreciate ASEAN and expecting that ASEAN will deliver and that their future depends on the success of ASEAN. That was not here 5 years ago, and I think I have made a lot of effort trying to reach out to the people. The disappointment, I think the fact that we have not gone fast enough in the integration, and we have not been able to resist some form of non-tariff barriers after we agree that the tariff barriers should be down. Now, this is a result of the global atmosphere. When our market in West Europe, in Western Europe, in America have disappeared or shrunk, all these economies are rushing to protect themselves because these are the markets that they have. And we have been advised that to create your own market, cultivate your own demand. Everybody is doing that. We need to get away from that instinct of trying to protect our individual markets. I have seen that, and I think we could do better if we together would look at the larger picture and the bigger frame and the larger vision that ASEAN has for the region. The world is expecting that 600 million people will be one market. Australia is expecting that. We should live up to the vision that we have put out.
Secretary General, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.